All right, welcome everyone. This is Dr. Brian from Genesis Chiropractic Software. I have online Dr. Dave Cruz from WebEx, Web Exercises, and Erez Lurov, partner at Genesis and chief architect of the system. And we're going to show you our new integration with Web Exercises. We're really excited. Been getting this request for a long time now and finally got the thing working. And we're about to get ready to launch it and let everybody see it. So I figured we'd give you a sneak peek at what's coming. And so you'll see on the patient travel card where you have your EMR, which is where you normally do your SOAP note, and then you have your diagnosis, procedure codes, et cetera, and where you would bill and sign off. You have a new tab here, or will have a new tab. This is still in beta. You will have a new tab here called Web Exercises. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to make the screen a little bigger here. Okay, I made this screen a little bigger, and I'm going to let Dr. Cruz speak to Web Exercises. This is his baby, and welcome, Dave. Thanks for being on, and we're really excited about the integration. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself and WebEx and how it got started, and then just demo some of the key features and benefits of it.
Great. Thank you, Brian. I'm happy to be here. We've been working on planning this for quite a while, so it's good to see it's finally coming around. We're going to get this launched in the near future. Web Exercises is a platform to create, manage all your exercise programming. As you know, with the trend in healthcare, everything is going more active care with a decreased reliance on passive care. So clinicians need to start integrating more exercise, whether it be stretches, rehab exercises, myofascial, self-myofascial foam rolling, or other certain modalities that patients can do on their own when they're outside of the office. Obviously, it's going to help them get better. It's going to help improve the efficacy of care, and it's just where healthcare is going in general. So we're excited to be integrated with Genesis in order to bring this to all of your clients. I started this company about 10 years ago as a way to help kind of bridge that gap between the clinician getting appropriate exercise programming to the patient and using technology. So this system I'll show you, again, is a way to create, manage all the exercise programming, print documentation. So if you need to create and print a document to show you've have appropriate documentation for your 97110, your 97535 codes, you'll have that documentation available. It'll also print out handouts with instructions, and then the videos also have demo video. The exercises have demo videos associated with them. So patients not only will see static images and photographs, but they can actually watch a video demo of an exercise being performed. So to get started, the integration is such that when you click on the Web Exercises tab, you will already be in that particular patient's profile. So you're not going to need to search through a bunch of exercises. If you're in John Smith's account, when you click on Web Exercises, it'll have John Smith's info. Brian, do I have mouse capabilities on this right now?
You should. And I want to just add something quickly to that as well. If you have a patient pulled up on the schedule as well, and you click on the More button, it'll be available from that area as well. So for your front desk, they can access this and also send them a secure link, the patient a secure link so they can access their exercises. So it's going to be
fantastic.
Yep.
So what I want to go over is an overview of the program and show how it can be utilized within your clinic and show you the benefits of using Web Exercises as opposed to some silhouette drawings that you print on the copy machine or taking the time to actually draw some exercises out. Because the bottom line is, as I mentioned, with active care being the trend, you need to obviously show that you performed and instructed these your patients with these exercises. So this could provide a very simple, systematic way to do that and manage that in a way that saves an incredible amount of time. So for instance, we can search a variety of ways. I can just go to the body region search and say I need, for instance, a neck exercise. I click on this. And then I can just go to category, and I'm going to say it's an exercise. And there's a variety of other drop-down menus which you can select from as well. You can search for anything from active range of motion, proprioceptive balance, different types of exercises with the activity search. Depending on the position you might want to start your patient out on, maybe if you have a low back patient, acute low back, you might want to start them just in a simple supine position. So we really tried to make this helpful to all clinicians because we know clinicians search differently, whether it's body position, movement, or even type of equipment. These are all different search criteria that will make it easier for you to hopefully bring up and find the right exercise. And there's a list of exercise available. So going back to the neck and an exercise, if I click search, what it's going to do is call up the library of exercises.
Awesome.
And I can scroll through this. And if I just want some simple range of motion exercises, for instance, all I do is I click on the thumbnail, and what it brings up is what the patient is going to see on their end when they get the email, as well as what can be printed. There's instructions. You can literally edit the text if you'd like to edit it to say something more specific, or you can click the video demo, and it'll show a short 10 to 15 second video that will loop over and over again so your patients can see just how to perform that exercise. You can hit the back button now. So that's one way to generally search, is just through the body region. So that's to start with. We can also use a keyword search. We have several musculoskeletal diagnoses in here. So I can just start typing ICD. We have both ICD-9 and 10, and the list is growing and growing. It's not our goal to have 65,000 ICD-10 codes. We're obviously not going to put all of those in. We're going to give you about probably the top 50 musculoskeletal codes. So for instance, if I have I'm going to go to, I have a whiplash injury, cervical sprain strain. I click on this, and now what's going to happen is I will hit search, and now it's going to display some exercises that could be utilized if you have a patient that has a cervical sprain strain. So what we try and do, again, with the exercise search is give you some search parameters that you can search by body region, type of equipment, exercise level and rehab, or just type in a keyword search. If you know what type of exercise it is, we could simply do this. So in the keyword search, let me try and erase this here and hit delete. If you need a hip exercise, I can say I need a hip, and it's going to start pre-populating some recommendations as soon as I start putting in this. So, yes, the hip bridge, maybe that's what I'm looking for. I click on this, and it'll bring up any exercise that has hip bridge associated with it. And you'll see we have thousands of exercises. So the more information you give, the more helpful it is to help refine that criteria. But we can start with just a real beginner one, progress it to one with the arms up, and then get a single leg. So we try and organize this in a fashion with the easy ones to a little bit more difficult and challenging in order to make it easy for the clinician. The other thing is that some people like searching for exercises by muscles. For instance, if I go here, I can literally search by a specific muscle. If we have an athlete that has a rotator cuff problem we've diagnosed, we can go, I'm going to click, let's go down to one of the teres muscles. We'll scroll down here. How about a teres minor, one of your rotator cuff muscles? So now I can literally go search, and what's going to come up is exercises which engage that teres minor muscle. So again, we know clinicians think differently, want to look for exercises differently, and that's why we've built in so many parameters. And we've learned that over the years, over the past 10 years, we've learned a lot on how clinicians search. So hopefully we can bring you a system that will make it easy to find exercises, prescribe them for your patients. A couple other things I want to show you are, I'm going to scroll up to the top, under protocols. Now, you can create your own protocols, or you can access any one of our protocols here. So we have a variety of different protocols, about 60 different ones, from ankle sprain, lateral epicondylitis. We have knee conditions, back conditions, postural with upper cross and lower cross syndrome. And this just makes it very simple, and I'll take you through how it can be really quickly utilized using a template. There's also something called clinical best practices. And what that is, if I click on clinical best practices, the core, we've had over 4.5 million exercises be prescribed through our system. So what we're able to do is take a look at those and say, what are the top 10 core exercises providers are recommending and prescribing out of that over the 4-point-some million.
Right.
This gives clinicians a really go-to, and if they're not sure what core exercise to use, which ones would be good, they can always go to the best practices, because they know that with certainty, if they choose a couple of those, they're within the standard of care. Standard of care is you are judged on how you deal with a situation clinically if the same situation was given to other clinicians within the same region, same area, under the same circumstances. So you know, going to the best practices, hey, a lot of clinicians are using these for core. I'm safe using some of these clinical best practices exercise. So we try and give back some useful information to the clinician to make them just more, hopefully provide them just more of a foundation in what they're giving to their patients. If we go in here and I say patient info, this is where your patient will automatically be listed. Let me show you how the exercise program works. So I come in here and I go create new RX. And I can do one of two things. I can perform an exercise search, or I can use a template. For instance, I'm going to use a template to start with. So for instance, I would say, let's scroll down. This person has a neck strain. So we're just going to start them out with a real simple exercise program. I hit refresh, and that's going to load it into the system. So I'm going to load it. So it loads up some protocols if I have a neck strain. We're going to edit that, though. So these are just some recommendations, but I want to make it a little bit more customized. I'm going to say, for this patient, we're going to remove a couple exercises. And let me grab this one, and then I'm going to remove a couple here. And refresh is going to get rid of them. But maybe I want to give them some core exercises. We want some good core strengthening exercises. So now I just hit search. Brings me back to the page which we're familiar with. I'm going to go to the core. And I can either use a drop-down menu, or I can literally click on the search model if I'd like. And now I'm just going to hit search. Since I'm creating a program now, what you'll see is that now we have these little add boxes. Before I was simply looking through the database. Now, since it's part of an exercise program, it populates with these little check boxes that I simply go, okay, now I know what I want. I'm going to give the person this side plank also to do for some core strengthening, and then we're also going to give them this progression of the dead bug. Yep, this is what I want. I hit return to RX. It brings us back to the page we were familiar with. Hit that.
There you go.
And now I can make any comments or change anything I want. I can say I want them to do this daily, for instance. I want them to do this exercise just 3 times a week. And for this exercise, because their neck is sore, I want them to perform as tolerated. Okay, so I can type any comments. I can say this program is for a neck strain. And the provider notes is just a private message. We can say this was a motor vehicle accident on 11/15/15, something of the sort. So the provider notes is something which is private, only stays within the provider side. The program notes is what will actually print, as well as the individual comments. I'm going to hit next. And now this is what I want. I hit finish. And from this point here, I can print 1, 2, or 4 exercises per page. I can now print a summary, which you would put in your records, or if I'd like, I could print the entire packet. Yes?
Quick question. I see on the top there it says an email has been sent to that Gmail account for this prescription.
Yes.
That's where it actually goes to the patient, right?
Yes, that is. So that's how the patients will actually access it from home or from wherever they get their email. Yes, it automatically fires it out. And so what they will be seeing is something very similar to this, where they're able to view, print the exercises so they can see exactly how to perform each exercise. They will see this with the instructions and the video demo.
Nice.
And what happens now is that this is a set prescription. If I go to patient info, this is now the first prescription. So when I go back into this patient, say 3-4 days later, this will be here, and I can always just click on a date, and it'll bring open this page. If I need to re-email it, if I need to reprint it, it's all right here.
Nice.
Under the scenario, this patient, 2 weeks later, for instance, and you go, they're doing much better, let's give them a couple new exercises. I'm going to now, under the status, I click Edit, and now I go Next, and now we start repeating the process. So once we've gotten down the process of how to create a program, we're just repeating it. For instance, I might want to get rid of some of these simple exercises, these isometrics. They might be still good with their core, so let's get rid of those, and I'll show you how we can progress this. Let's say I go to exercise search. They're feeling pretty strong, so I'm going to go neck, and now let's give them some exercises maybe with some resistance, since we have strengthened to the point that they can tolerate this. I'm going to hit search, and now I can give them some simple exercises with the resistance band. So maybe we want them to do a little bit of a head retraction with the resistance band. We want them now to do an isometric hold with the resistance band, and then maybe a lateral flexion with the resistance band. So I simply repeat the process, return to RX, and here is your new exercise programming right here. I'm going to hit Next, and now Finish. Now we have our new program, and again the email has been pushed out, and back to the point where we can print 1, 2, or 4 exercises per page. We can email it out and have documentation through the prescription summary. The last point I want to show is what we call a Quick RX, and it's exactly that. If I click on Quick RX, it's designed to really be using templates. So we don't have any of ours made at this point. You can build your own templates, or you can modify any of ours. I'm going to select a template, for instance. Let's go down to low back. I go down to low back. This person has a low back strain. I click. It's going to auto-load. And now all I have to do is select the couple I want. For this person, I want them to do a cat-camel. I want them to do a little core activation. I want them to do the dead bug. And then that's it. I'm going to scroll down now. And actually, I want them proper sitting position. Now all I do is hit Create. And at this point, it just created it.
Yeah.
I'm done. It's created it. I click here to print that. So that's where, again, a few different ways to go about an exercise program. Quick RX, you have to use a template. The traditional way, you can use a template. You can use the individual exercise search. It's a little bit more flexible. So we try and tie in, like I said, a variety of ways because we know all clinicians think a little differently.
Really cool. I could see that Quick RX once you've gotten used to what you like in there, create a few protocols that you commonly use, and then select the ones that you want for that patient. That can make it really, really quick after you get used to things.
Absolutely.
So I'm going to quickly show, again, you're on your SOAP note screen. Maybe you have a re-exam today, and it's the day you go back in and show where you've been with this patient and look at the protocols that you have, and then you can click, and I'm just going based on what I just learned. You click on that, and then if you want to edit that, if you want to add a new one, I kind of missed that one, but you want to look at any of the ones you have, or if you wanted to edit one, right?
Exactly. It's chronological, so the current program is always at the top, and that's the one you would be editing.
Really cool.
The other one, it just keeps a running history. It'll keep a running history of every program you've ever given for that patient. So should you get record requests for something 6 months ago, just go back in, look for that date. If you want to duplicate the program, meaning that's a good point where you're going to, Brian, where it says duplicate on the right side. Yeah. Take the scenario, patient comes in, you treat them for a month, they have good results, you discharge them, they come back a month later with the same condition, just a little bit of flare-up.
Right. You
treat them, and then you look at the program, and you talk to them about if the exercises were correct or were they appropriate for them. They go, you know what, doc, those exercises were great. All you have to do is click duplicate, and that reactivates an old program.
Really cool.
You don't have to go through and rebuild it again.
All right. Well, that's really cool. So, again, I'm on my daily note. Maybe I want to go to do some exercise. It's going to pull up the patient that we're looking at right now, so you don't have to, not searching for your patient. You do what you have to do, and that'll get sent to the patient, and then you're right back here, finish your note, submit, sign off. Your daily note is done. Your web exercise is done. Your claim is sent to the insurance company, and you're completely done. Now, one other thing for the CBP doctors that are out there, should we discuss that a little bit? That there's some where that kind of comes into play at least?
So where that comes into play is if I go to the exercise search, we have a feature down here that is additional libraries. So what we're able to do is for CBP docs, we're able to activate the CBP library. So it would literally just say CBP mirror image. You would click on that and then hit search, and then that's where all the CBP exercises would be displayed. So it's a private library just because that content is proprietary to them. So we have to keep it separate from the general database. But that when we activate that for docs, that's where they will find it, is in that additional library section.
Really cool. All right. Again, so you can access it while you're with the patient. This can also be accessed right from the schedule. For your front desk or yourself, if you happen to be over there on that screen, you can access the patient's web exercises. Anything else you think we need to go over, Dave?
Down here, the blue bar, this is highlights when we load new exercises. We try and do new content about at least once a quarter. So we recently put in just some general fitness type of equipment, exercises.
Oh, cool.
Now, today, so patients going to the gym. Let me just click on one of these here. Just some traditional gym equipment. Also, today we just released our TheraBand content. We're the only company that has exclusive rights to TheraBand content and Hygienics Corp. Right. So we released let me scroll down and go to the next page here. I'm going to go to page 2. This TheraBand CLX content right here. So we create most of our own content, but in some cases where there is a product which is a brand name, i.e. TheraBand, Bosu Ball, some TRX suspension training, AirX balance pads, we actually form a relationship with that company, and we're able to get their content. So this content you see, we're the only company which gets their content outside of their TheraBand Academy. So we just loaded this up today, and we should, over the next several months, be getting more and more TheraBand specific content. We do have a ton of content using the band, but it's great when we can get content directly from the company that produces those products. So that's another
Very cool.
add value in there.
Very nice, man. So this is an awesome product. Congratulations, and we're really excited to be working together. And there's just a really great synergy for people who use it. Just simplifies
us as well.
life.
Yeah,
so
looking forward to it.
Concludes. Sorry, go ahead.
No, looking forward to working with you guys. I think this will be great.
Awesome. Same here. I think that concludes the demonstration, and we'll keep everybody up to speed on if there's any new developments as we go along here and as we roll this out. So thank you, everybody, for watching.
Great. Thank you.